welcome back to my channel. I'm James. Today's follow-up video is to answer all of your questions about all of these 4K releases that I did get in early for review. Now, if you want to know my full analysis and reviews, all of those videos are available on this channel right now. I did those here over the last week, and they're available to watch right now. But this is a follow-up to say thank you to all of you for your wonderful support, and also to answer all of your questions. There have been a lot of them, and I'm going to try to answer as many as I can in this video. One of the biggest ones was specifically about the Aliens 4K versus digital image. Now I'm going to tell you in this video, I'm going to do my exclusive 4K versus the digital image comparison on Aliens. Now on the previous Aliens review, I did 4K versus Blu Ray so that you can see the differences between that, so that way you know how that comes out. So if you want to check out that video, that will give you the full review. I'm not going to be doing a full review in this one, but covering the differences simply between the digital version of Aliens and the new 4K transfer, so that you understand the differences between that. Because to be honest, I got asked that probably about 100 times in questions, messages, emails, and comments. So I thought as a surprise for all of you, I'd make this shorter video to answer that for you so you could see it for yourself, what the quality of the 4K transfer is versus digital. And then while I'm going through the rest of the video, I'm going to be answering questions that I received on the Abyss and True Lies, and kind of going through different things, some fun questions to answer a lot of things that folks have asked about these, and little things that I didn't get to share in the previous review videos. Now, I do want to start off by saying a huge shout out and thank you to all of you after I released my review of Aliens. The support, the comments, and the wonderful things that a lot of you have said really just means a lot to me. And I do want to make sure to let you all know from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for your support on all of these reviews, True Lies, The Abyss, Aliens. The support has been amazing and I really do appreciate it, and I wanted to make sure that you understand that. Even if I didn't get around to commenting or replying to every single comment, which, to share the crazy number, I've gotten over 1,000 messages, comments, emails. It's literally been an exciting time, and I just want to say thank you for all of you and your wonderful comments and support. It truly does mean a lot to me. Now, it's always important after you get done watching this video, if you decide that you want to pick these up and add these to your collection, always go down and use those direct Amazon sale links I posted down below. Those are very important to the creation of these videos. Now, to start off with, we're going to be comparing the digital version to what's on the native 4K 2160p transfer that I previously reviewed. As I explained, if you want the full review, all my testing data and analysis, you're going to want to check out the full review that's available right now on this channel. But as far as between the 4K disc and the digital, the first thing you'll notice is the image on the digital was darker. Now, it also has compression artifacts that appear in the image that do cause some issues when you're watching it, some slight blocking. It's not a very good looking transfer on the digital version. Several other things occur through it. The image itself lacks a lot of color depth that you'll notice on this 4K transfer. A lot of things like lips, skin tones, colors of things around, they just don't appear as deep color-wise on the digital version as they do on this beautiful native 4K transfer. Now, one of the biggest things you'll notice is on the digital version, it's extremely waxy looking. Now, there's been a lot of false debate about the AI restoration process and so on and so forth, which I'm going to talk about that, some of the questions I got about that later on in this video. But talking about what you see in the digital version is by far the poorest version that you can watch of Aliens. It actually has a very waxy and very, very soft appearance. I was actually shocked at how much of the finer details that you can see on Aliens in the native 4K transfer that are completely lacking, missing, and gone on the digital version. You know, there's a lot of hairs I talked about that you can see on this native 4K transfer that you cannot see on the digital version because it's darker and it lacks a lot of those fine, intricate details that you can see on this. You cannot see a lot of those fine, intricate details on the digital version. They are missing, which is what lends to more of a, it's a waxier, just digital, waxy appearance. A lot of the film grain you can't even see on the digital version at all. It's completely gone. Where you can see the film grain, the light film grain you can see on the native 4K, as I explained, that you can see on this, but you cannot see it on the digital version. Now, touching on the audio for the digital version, it is lacking most of the LFE, and it is drastically softer sounding, where I had to turn it up quite a bit louder than I did on the physical 4K disc. As I explained about the audio on this, it's reference quality on the audio on the Dolby Atmos mix on this physical 4K disc. It is not on the digital version. It's soft, it lacks LFE, and because of it being softer overall, a lot of your effects like your height channels and moving things around the room that I talked about that are contained on this physical disc, you really can't hear very well at all on the digital version. It's extremely poor sounding and extremely poor looking. So to kind of sum it up, the 4K disc, the physical image, the sound, the visual experience you get from this, and the audio experience simply blows away and annihilates everything from the digital version. It is literally a night and day difference. I was surprised at how much of a difference it was and how drastically better the physical 4K disc was than the digital version. So if you're wanting my full analysis on what else is contained in this disc, make sure when you get done with this video to go watch my full in-depth review. It's been massive. I still can't believe it's already passed over 20,000 views in just less than 24 hours. It's been crazy and a really exciting experience, to be honest with you. Between all 3 reviews in just a few short days, they've acquired over 60,000 views. That is amazing. And I just want to say thank you again. It's been an exciting experience now. There is a ton of content on this channel for you to check out as well if you want more reviews on other amazing 4Ks. But if you haven't done so yet, make sure to go down and give this video a like and a thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. Now, answering one of the biggest questions I've got about all 3 of these 4K releases is there going to be a future limited edition or steelbook release of these 3 films? What I can tell you right now is it is not planned. It is not being planned. These are the only editions that James Cameron has signed off on for now, and these are the only editions that are being planned as of right now. Now, that doesn't mean in a year or 2 from now that might not change, but for right now, my guess is for the rest of this year, this is what we're getting. So unless you want to wait maybe a year or 2 to try to see if there's one later on, which to be honest with you, I wouldn't suggest, because I'm not one of those people that can wait that long to enjoy some of my favorite films. But that's your answer. So if you're waiting to buy these for a steelbook, don't. Because as of right now, it's not even something being planned. So if that answers that for you and you're wanting to buy it, make sure to use that direct Amazon sale link I posted down below. Another question I've gotten is about Aliens in the Abyss. Do the special editions extended cuts automatically play when you put the discs in? The answers to that is no. You actually have to go into the setup menu, you click in that, and then it says would you like to watch the 1990 special edition extended cut, so on and so forth. You select it and then it plays. But continuing, another question that's asked stacking on top of that is, and I kind of answered it in the reviews, but it seems like a lot of people missed it, is they wanted to know if the Dolby Atmos is included on the extended special edition cuts as well. Yes, because those cuts are the ones that include the same amazing reference quality Dolby Atmos audio mixes, and it's on both cuts of the film, so you're not getting left out from that, and that is my preferred way to view it. And that leads into another question I was asked a lot of. What's my favorite cut of The Abyss and Aliens? Well, as you probably figured out, it's the extended special edition cuts. I love how it expands the story. So for like on The Abyss, it expands more of the special effects. I do think it's a better story, has more depth with the characters, and fleshes out the universe better. Same things for Aliens. Some people say it made it a slower pace. I don't agree. I actually think what James Cameron explains at the beginning of Aliens, how it's a longer, like it builds so much better. I really feel like the extended special edition is the way to go for Aliens and The Abyss. I love the added footage. Especially for Aliens, I do feel like it kind of builds the anticipation, the scare factor, the drama. It just builds it so much better, and it really does flesh out Aliens universe and the characters so much better. That's the only way I suggest viewing these. But like I always like to say, movies are a form of art, so we each have different opinions and feelings on which cut we like better. It doesn't mean that just because I like the extended cut that you have to. If you like the theatrical cut better, that's perfectly fine as well. This is just my opinion of my favorite cut to watch. Another really big question I've gotten is, do I know anything about Terminator 2 or Terminator 1? Well, I will share with you some of my studio insider information. I can tell you both Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 are being worked on with brand new 4K digital restorations. I don't know the exact date we will see those being released. I would hope later this year, but my guess is most likely it won't be till next year. But I can tell you, James Cameron and his team are already in the process of working on brand new 4K digital restorations. I just don't know how far along they are for both those films. So the good news is we will be seeing new Terminator, which has never been on 4K, and Terminator 2. My personal hope is, as I've shared with you all about the AI restoration processes, my guess is they are using this same process for like what they did with Aliens, that I could see a similar thing coming out with Terminator 2 and for Terminator, which would be thrilling and exciting. Because as I shared, Aliens and Terminator 2 are my two favorite James Cameron films of all time. So I have never been a fan of the 3D 4K version, the 3D transfer, as I was explaining, that is available on the 4K disc. So when I found this out, I was hugely excited, and so I'm sharing that with all of you so you can be excited. But we will be seeing Terminator 2 and Terminator 1 eventually coming out here with brand new 4K digital restorations. I'm hoping it lives up to what they did with Aliens. I'm assuming that's why he created this new AI restoration process to do for his older films, which is what I see happening, is that's what's going to happen for Terminator 2 and Terminator 1, which I am hugely excited for. So hopefully this Studio Insider information makes your day and you're excited about. Now make sure to comment down below and let me know how excited you are now that I've shared some of this Studio Insider information. Another big question I got about all of these is the Blu-ray included in here that has the movie on it. Does that have the new transfer, just basically dumbed down to 1080p? Yes. They all have the new transfer on them, just dumbed down to 1080p. So if you don't have 4K yet and you're wanting to own these so that way you can collect them when you get to 4K and you upgrade, you'll still be able to enjoy the 1080p Blu-ray, which I did explain is 100% region free. But as far as that goes, you'll be able to enjoy that plus the special features. And then when you upgrade later on, for me, the 4K is the only way to go. If you have not upgraded to 4K yet, you really need to upgrade because you are missing out on a lot of just the visual immersive experience of what you get not only from Dolby Atmos, but also what you get from the visual experience. Another big question I've gotten from a lot of folks about Dolby Vision is, for these three films, what do I recommend watching these Dolby Vision transfers on for a 4K player? I've reviewed, talked about it, tested it, talked about it for years. The highest recommendation I have for a dedicated 4K player, but it's an amazing machine that will drastically enhance your viewing and listening experience, is the Panasonic UB820. Now I will put the direct Amazon sale link for it down below. I actually pin it below and post it below every single video I create in the description section. It's one of the ones that I personally use. I have two of them that I test and review all of these 4K discs on. Now another question people asked a lot about these is hey, I have a PlayStation or I have an Xbox and it doesn't either play Dolby Vision or it doesn't play the 4K discs well. Well, here's the answer to that. The reason for that is because those are not dedicated 4K players with the software and the technology. They are very low-end, low-quality 4K players that were not intended to give you reference quality experiences out of these 4K discs. So you are lacking a lot of the visual experience. It does not process all the data and what you see out of these images to display it on your TVs. So when you do watch things on an Xbox or a PlayStation, understand you are not viewing the same thing I am. When I play things on my Panasonic UB820, or anyone does, you are getting a drastically increased visual experience out of every single one of these 4K discs. So if you are looking for a dedicated player, you are a cinephile, or you love watching any of these amazing films, you need to do yourself a favor and get a Panasonic UB820. I'll post that direct Amazon sale link down there below if you have not gotten one yet. But it comes with my highest recommendation. I have two of them. Of the 4 professionally calibrated 4K players I use, 2 of them are Panasonic UB820s. One's a region free and one's just a standard US one. And I absolutely love them, though I will tell you a little trick. Every single disc I get, I clean to make sure when the disc is being read, especially because 4K discs come with sometimes fingerprints or this slight residue on them, it is very important to clean your 4K disc every single time the way I explained it in that video. And I did a video here on this channel, the proper way to clean these discs you will never get a scratch on them, and it will take that residue off. So that way your player does not get any digital artifacting from it picking up hairs or the grease and smudges that come on the 4K disc, which can cause a lot of artifacting that I see people complaining saying, hey, I put a 4K disc and it either skipped or had artifacting. 99.9% of the time that comes from the residue that is on these discs that I explained in that video. If you have not watched that video yet, you really need to. I explain exactly what it is, how it causes problems with 4K discs, and why it's different than Blu-rays. This is a problem that happens from 4K discs because the laser is reading so much more intricate detail that any little residue or smudges that comes on these discs can cause playback issues. So if you have not checked out that video yet, it's available right now on this channel. It's been huge. But that will answer how to clean the disc properly so you don't have playback issues on any of these. Another big question I got is, what are my thoughts on the AI restoration and process that was kind of used for these films? Well, my answer is, I think it did a good job, and I like what they did with these two films. But on this one, it could have used a bit more work. So as long as they could do what they did for these two films, I understand it's being considered for accessing more of like 20th Century's catalog and making it a less expensive way to possibly release more films that we haven't gotten on 4K because of cost prohibitive, because of the amount of people that have to work on it, that the AI restoration would make it a faster and simpler process for less people to have to spend time on it so they could release more titles. So in that sense, to give you an idea, even if it meant we got one of these True Lies every once in a while like this, I'd be okay with it if it meant we got more 20th Century and Disney restorations of catalog titles. You know what? I do think it's a unique idea what they're doing with it, seeing the differences between them. I mean, like I said, there was some issues with True Lies, but then what you see that was on Aliens and how gorgeous of a transfer it is, you know, if done correctly, I don't have as much a problem with it. But I do think it needs to be supervised more so that we don't have as many issues as was on this one. Still enjoy owning this, but it could have used more work, a little bit more time in the oven to get rid of some of those things, which it seems like is what happened with Aliens in the Abyss. A lot more time went into those ones. But I guess, again, probably because of budget and constraints, this one was probably the least sought after title, whereas these two were way bigger releases. So again, more money spent on, probably less money spent on. But that's kind of my thoughts on the AI. Now, someone asked something that made me really laugh. They said, what's the funniest comment you've gotten on these James Cameron reviews? Well, the funniest comment goes to Aliens for Aliens version 2.0, the Pubes edition. I literally could not stop laughing. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. And honestly, if you've watched that video, you'll understand it. If you don't get the joke, you need to go watch the full Aliens review to understand what I'm talking about. But that wins the award for the funniest comment that I could not stop laughing. My wife thought it was hilarious. But Aliens version 2.0, the Pubes edition. Man, that's great. Next question was, I don't live in the US and these are not being released in any of the countries I live in. How do I get a hold of these? Well, the Amazon sale link I've posted right down below these videos will ship anywhere worldwide. Yes, you do have to pay a little bit higher for shipping costs, but to own films like this, to me, it's worth it. And here's why. If you've watched my channel for a while, I import tons of 4K Ultra HD releases from all over the world. In the US, we don't get every 4K release either. Actually, there's been almost over 130 4Ks now that I've tested and reviewed that have never been released in the US. Actually, that number's higher even than that now, that I own in my collection that I'm very happy to own. So I import things like from Germany, and I have to pay a little bit higher of a fee, and I do pay a slight import fee from Germany, for example, sometimes. But to me, it's worth it. As a collector and a film lover and cinephile, I want to have all those films in my collection on 4K. So to be honest with you, if I lived in a country that these were not being released, go down and import it through the Amazon link I posted down below. That's the best way to get a hold of these, to make sure you actually get them as well, because there are some offshoot companies I've heard of that people have had their money stolen from, the items never showed up, and the companies don't insure and guarantee you'll get the item. Amazon does. So that link down there, you're always guaranteed that if for some reason it got lost, Amazon would replace it or ship you a new one or refund you. So that is why I always suggest always going directly down through those Amazon links. Another huge question I got was about the Abyss. Do I think that James Cameron should have succumbed to the pressure and basically edited down and taken out the scenes of the rat drowning scenes in the abyss, so that way this 4K could have been released in the UK? Here's my direct answer: no and never. As I've talked about in my big video on the importance of physical media, if you have not checked out that video yet here on this channel, you really need to go watch it so that you're aware of what's going on with digital streaming services, which since that video, I found out there's hundreds of other movies and TV series that have been edited, things completely deleted, episodes completely deleted, so that the streaming services can play it so it's socially or politically acceptable. I'm completely against that. I don't care what type or what form of censorship it is. Once you start down that road, it's never ending. Whether you're conservative or whether you're liberal, doesn't matter which side you're on. Editing and censorship affects everybody because whoever is doing that editing decides, well, I didn't like this scene because it had a female in it, or I didn't like this scene because it had a male in it, or I didn't like this scene because there's a rat in it that drowns. The problem is once you start down that road, there's no end to it. And all of a sudden, all of the things that we loved watching or that we remembered watching, they've taken the rat scene out of this. And that's a big part of the movie, explaining exactly what that liquid is and how it works. You take that scene out, the film doesn't make sense. And you see there's a lot of scenes like that that I've heard of that streaming services have cut out completely. If you have not checked out that video I have available on this channel right now about the importance of physical media, this is a prime reason why those of you that are in the UK, if you have not bought and supported this Abyss link by buying it from the US and having it shipped to your country, you need to right now. You need to send a message that you are not okay with censorship being taken out of films just because whatever country it is or whoever's in charge decides, I didn't like that. Because once you start down that road, they can censor and take away anything out of any film at any time with whoever's in charge or whoever basically decides they don't like something. So I feel very strongly about censorship. I've talked about this a lot on this channel. So in that case, do I think James Cameron should have changed his film? Heck no. He should not have edited it, and I'm very thankful he did not do anything like what they wanted him to. He stuck to his guns, which I very much appreciate, as I have over the years. I've stuck to my guns that I do not think things should be censored, and I tell every single person that, even if it's something I don't agree with. There's things I don't agree with that I think, man, I don't really like that in a film. But I still don't ever say, go censor that out because I don't want it in the film at all. That's in there, fine, because I don't want it to start that then they start taking other things out. And in this case, no. I'm glad he did not have this censored, and I'm glad it's available in this exact cut without anything taken out. And in case you didn't notice, I feel very strongly on this issue, but not meaning to offend anybody here, but I do feel strongly about this. Working in films and TV series over the last 8 years that I have, I do love them, and I don't want them all changed so much that there's scenes cut out of all of them like what I see on digital. And what's going on in digital services makes me sick. And most people are simply not aware what's actually going on. They have no rights to their content. They own nothing. They don't own the movie on digital. They take it away. They delete it. They get rid of it at any time. You don't own anything. When I have a physical disc, I can play this anytime I want. Somebody can't tell me what I can watch, when I can watch, how long I can watch it for, or if it's on the service. That is why I will always support physical media, and that is why I always have. And that was the whole purpose of why I created this channel many years ago, was to keep the focus on why physical media is so dang important. The next question I got is, what is the most irritating comment I have gotten on all 3 of these restorations by James Cameron? Is James Cameron hates film grain and loves DNR waxy look. You know, he doesn't. And I've talked about this for years. If you have not checked out my Titanic review, that review is available right now on this channel. I did get that sent to me 2.5 weeks early for review. I dived into that. All of the natural film grain is still present on that he worked on as well. As I've talked about in each of these releases, we still have film grain. Still have film grain. Now, True Lies being the lowest quality of those, but Aliens still have film grain. So what that tells me is that people just really don't listen to the facts. They ignore that just like Titanic, just like The Abyss, just like Aliens, film grain is still there. He does not hate it. He does not DNR it away one time There was a Terminator 2 release, which was incorrect. Again, they released the 3D version of it, which was incorrect. It actually states it at the beginning of some of the discs that it was from the 3D version, not a new restoration that was done specifically for a 4K release. It was actually a 3D version that was done incorrectly by Studio Canal. And you see, the problem is because that happened and that's been on the market, he gets blamed for that over and over and over again, saying that he hates it, and he doesn't. Look at Titanic, look at The Abyss, look at Aliens. If you look at all the native images as I pulled, Aliens, you can see it just easily in that review. If you have not checked that out, look at the zoomed in images. Film grain, still lightly filmic, and it's still there. So that is probably one of the most irritating comments posting constantly. And they'll go on to other people's comments and say, James Cameron hates film grain. And I saw like literally 100 comments after I did Aliens that they were all going in and bombing everybody's comments saying, James Cameron released an AI waxy Aliens, and it's just AI waxy. There's no depth, no detail. And what that tells me is they didn't even watch the video review I created. If you even watched the first 7 minutes of it, you'd see those native images. You can see the film grain for yourself right in them. And that's the image that's actually present on this 4K disc. But they don't want to open their eyes and actually look at it. And so they just keep posting the same dang tired comment over and over again. That it's all waxy AI, that there's no film grain, he DNRs everything. That's not the case, that's not the truth, and that's a lie. And that's why I said when I reviewed these, I wanted to point out and show you so you could see for yourself. And when you get these, you can do the same thing and you'll see light film grain, just like what he had in Titanic. He does not DNR and get rid of it. And that is why I really enjoyed all these 4K releases to varying degrees. I just want to make this video kind of a more fun video to share like questions you guys had asked, share a little bit behind the scenes, and also to show off the Aliens 4K versus digital. That way I could answer that question for all of you. So that way you really have a comprehensive guide for everything about all three of these James Cameron upcoming 4K releases. If you watch this video and you go watch each of the individual reviews, it will show you for yourself and it will answer every single question you could possibly have about any of these exciting releases. I do just want to say again, thank you for all of your love and support. I really do appreciate it. If you're going to buy any of these releases, I posted those direct Amazon sale links down there below. I hope you've enjoyed all these detailed videos that I provided for you. Make sure to go down and give this video a like and a thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. As always, I truly hope all of you have a blessed day, and I've always got something new, early, exclusive, and exciting coming out very soon.